Hello friends, now we are studying introduction of power system stability. So basically what is power system stability? Power system stability is the ability of power system to remain in working state after being subjected to disturbances. Means if any kind of disturbances occur in power system, then our generator will not stop delivering the power. It will deliver the power whether it will be delivering the same power or it will be delivering the different power, but the power system will be once again stable. So power system stability is the ability of a power system to remain in working state after being subjected to disturbances. So if you are talking about power system stability, if you are talking about power system stability, so there are three kind of power system stability basically. See guys, the first one is rotor angle stability. Rotor angle stability. Second one is frequency stability, and the third one is voltage stability. So if any kind of disturbances occur in the power system, so that will be dealt in rotor angle stability, frequency stability, and voltage stability. Now we have to keep in mind load frequency control and frequency stability. These are two different things. Here low frequency control is in our. Before understanding rotor angle stability, we must understand what is basically rotor angle. What is rotor angle? So to understand the concept of rotor angle, we must see few concept of machine. Basically, I am discussing here. Do not worry. So let us assume we have to generate a three-phase electricity for which this is current IR, this is current IY, and this is current IB. Our phase sequence is RYB basically. And so this is the stator and this is salient pole rotor alternator. Basically salient pole rotor. So here it will be excitation. So this is the excitation battery V and it will create an N and S. So here we will giving two things here. One is excitation and second one is the mechanical input. Mechanical input that will rotate the whole rotor basically. So what will happen? We will apply the excitation in this. Then what will happen? The rotor magnetic field. First I am writing what? Rotor magnetic field. First rotor magnetic field will generate, and if the rotor is moving with nr speed, so the speed of rotor magnetic field will be nr. It means I can say clearly here, whatever the speed of rotor will be, that will be the speed of rotor magnetic field. This concept you must understand. So if we gave the exciter here, and let us assume this rotor is moving with nr speed, basically with nr speed, and the magnetic field will start generating when we will apply the excitation, and that magnetic field will rotate with rotor speed, it means nr, and it will create a magnetic field that will cut the stator conductor here, and EMF will generate here. And if the load is connected, let us assume balance load IR IYB is connected, then IR flow. What will happen when IR flow? Basically, IR is flowing means the current in stator conductor is flowing. So, by the method of Biot-Savart law, a current carrying conductor always produces a magnetic field. So, this will be stator magnetic field. Now, I am repeating. Let us assume we are moving this rotor with nr speed, that will be 1500 rpm. Initially it will be ns, so it will be running with ns speed, and when apply the exciter, then nns will generate and it will start generating magnetic field. So the speed of this magnetic field will be the speed of rotor, means the speed of rotor magnetic field will be speed of rotor. And once the rotor magnetic field generated, then it will cut the conductor here. After cutting the conductor here, an EMF will generate, and if the load is connected, an IR current will flow. If IR current is flowing, then a stator magnetic field will generate here, and fortunately we know that the both speed will be same. We will be discussing it when we will be studying the synchronous generator. But what we need to focus here is, first which will generate, first generate NR, then after few time NS will generate. So let us assume when NS is generating, so moving in motion is in this side, so NR will be here, because NR have generated earlier, so this will be delta and this will be omega into T initially. So now we have two magnetic field that is running with same speed. It means if this will be running this, so 1500 rpm for 4-pole machine, 50 hertz. So 1500 rpm, nr is equal to 1500 rpm, and ns is also equal to 1500 rpm, and there is an angle delta in between them, nr and ns, and delta is equal to omega s into t basically. So this is running, and this is the steady state. So the what is rotor angle? Rotor angle is the difference between, rotor angle is the difference between, rotor magnetic field and stator magnetic field. You can see clearly what is rotor angle. Rotor angle is the difference between rotor magnetic field and stator magnetic field. Always keep in mind. So this is rotor angle. So what will happen when a mechanical input will be applied more, means increase in mechanical input? So we must understand this topic very carefully. So initially we know that initially our nr generated, and then after few times ns generated, and nr is leading ns by an angle of delta. It means if the motion is this, nr is forward and ns is backward. We know that for the balanced load current, this ns will always be constant, is ns will always be constant throughout the stability analysis. This ns will always be constant throughout the fault analysis, and it is running it, ns is equal to 120 f by p. So 50 hertz 4 pole, it is 1500 rpm. So ns will always be constant, and nr will vary. So let us assume initially we are applying pm is equal to, mechanical input is equal to 20 megawatt. 20 megawatt we were applying, and for 20 megawatt this rotor watt moving as 1500 rpm, means for 20 megawatt this was running at 1500 rpm. 1500 rpm. And what will happen, and at the same time if ns is equal to 1500 rpm, so nr will always equal to 1500 rpm. So what will happen, when we increase the rotor mechanical input, means we will increase this rotor magnetic field. So if we increase the mechanical input, so this ns will be constant, this ns will be constant, and this nr will change and nr will increase. So initially let us assume here, if our angle was, if our, this is as ns and this is nr, if our angle was delta and delta is equal to 30 degree at when pm was equal to 20 megawatt, when we increase this ps is equal to, let us assume we increase by 25 megawatt, so this ns, sorry, this ns is constant, this ns is constant. Now if we increase the mechanical input, this nr will speed, means if we increase the input, means the speed of the rotor will be moving faster, and if the rotor of speed will be running faster, so nr, so nr will be now more than 1500, and now ns is same 1500 rpm, so there will be an angle difference between nr and ns, and that will be greater than 30 degree. So when we will draw here, so if this will be nr and this will be ns, so here this angle will be either 45 degree or it will be greater than 30 degree, basically what I said. So this is what happened whenever we are giving any changes in the system. Changes means it can be disturbances also or mechanical input changes also. So whenever we are giving any kind of disturbance, there is a increase or decrease in this rotor angle, this delta. So there might be a chance that if the delta would be increasing so much that at any particular value, if that it increase, then our system will be unstable. So we must find that angle, and now we have to analyze this. So this power system stability basically is the part of power system analysis. So now we are going to analyze this rotor angle. So if there is any kind of change is happening, any kind of disturbances is happening, there is a change in delta. So if the delta value would be increasing and that would be greater than any particular value, so we must find that angle. So now we are dealing with delta. So now we are focusing on delta, and we are going to study detail in rotor angle stability. If you will see any generating power system, you will see a lot of generators parallelly running. So what is basically power system stability? Power system stability is also defined as ability of alternators working in parallel, I'm writing working in parallel, maintaining synchronism, maintaining synchronism. So one also more thing is, if you will see generator running parallel, if at any generator all the generator are increasing with the same speed and decreasing with the same speed, means the angle of delta is increasing same and decreasing same, so that generator will be called as coherent group of generator, coherent group of generators. So this is coherent group of generators. Now whenever there is imbalance between mechanical input and electrical output, there will be change in delta now, and disturbance is delta, so our power system will disturb. So if we are dealing with rotor angle stability, means let us assume if any kind of disturbances occur in the system, our rotor angle will change, then that will be deal in rotor angle stability. Now what happen if that disturbances will be very small, if that disturbances will be very small, means if the mechanical input increase in very small, so there is a delta variation will be less, and if there is a mechanical input changes will be more, then the more delta will be changed. So whenever there is a talking about small change in angle, so that will be dealt in small angle stability, small signal stability. And whenever there is a large disturbances occur and the variation in delta will be large, so that will be dealt in large signal stability. So if we are talking about small signal, there are two parts in small signal stability also. One is steady state stability, one is steady state stability, and the another is dynamic stability. Steady state and dynamic stability are both the part of small signal. We will talk about the variation in small delta. So if we are talking about steady state stability and dynamic stability, so what is the basically difference? So difference is, if we will consider the controlling part like exciter, governor, if we will analyze this, so in dynamic stability we will deal with controlling equipment. But in case of steady state stability, controlling equipment, we do not deal with controlling equipment. So in case of steady state stability, we do not deal with we do not deal with we do not deal with controlling equipment controlling equipment. So in small signal stability, there are two kind of stability. One is steady state stability, in which we do not deal with controlling equipment, and another is dynamic stability, in which we deal with controlling equipment. So what will happen in large signal stability? Whether we should deal with controlling equipment or not? So our answer is not. Why? Because whenever there large disturbances occur, so within the seconds all thing will happen. Like if circuit breaker had to operate, then it will operate, or the system will be unstable within the time. So if you are talking about the controlling part, the time constant of controlling part, the time constant of controlling part, which is much greater than time constant of duration of fault, duration of large signal stability. So we know that if the time constant of large signal stability is very small, it means when the fault occur, when all the in large signal stability, then this controlling part will start interacting. So we will deal with controlling part here in case of large signal stability. So here it is all about the stability we are going to deal with. And one more point also, in small signal stability, basically in small signal stability, we will deal with we will deal with linear equation. We will deal with linear equation because in small signal stability, it has inherent capability to overcome non-linearity. So it has the property of overcome non-linearity. But in case of large signal stability, we will deal with algebraic equation, algebraic equation in together with plus non-linear equation. So the study of large signal stability will be difficult little bit, because here we are dealing with non-linear equation, and in case of small signal stability we are only dealing with linear equation. And one more point also, example, in case of small signal stability like small signal stability, outage of any area, outage of any area, particular a small area basically, but in any code short circuit happen in the transmission line, that will becomes in large signal stability. In case of large signal stability, we will consider example as short circuit at transmission line, short circuit at transmission line, transmission line. So this is all about the rotor angle and the rotor angle stability.